Ah, you're back.
I'm Max, and welcome 20 anime lovers versus 1 anime hater. I think anime is for kids. Let's say it like that.
I'm already really intimidated looking into your eyes. How can anime be for kids if there's lots of boobs in it? Yep. Come on, guys. Guys, you know, that was good. That was
I think he's
good.
got me on that one. I don't think we want kids seeing boobs, right?
3, 2, 1.
What's your name?
Matt.
Max. Nice to meet you.
He ain't wrong.
Hentai.
Yo, this is the anime community, bro.
Is hentai for kids?
Is hentai anime?
Yes.
Hentai is anime.
If you,
Hentai is
as an
anime.
anime fan, want hentai to represent your whole genre, then you be my guest. But
The question is it for kids?
They're excessively big for no reason.
2, 1.
all right, what's your name?
My name is Reed. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
I have to disagree with you, first of all, because a lot of anime are made at an intellectual level that is not for kids at all. Evangelion, for example, not for children in its themes.
Yeah, so it's difficult to define an entire genre as content that is just childish, right? And I'm not trying to make that argument with anime.
No,
I
I
think
don't
you can
think you
take
are.
content from anything that's not live action, that's stop motion, that's animated, and say there's some that's for kids and some that's not for kids, based on the content itself. My argument is less so about the storylines and the plots, and less so the way anime presents itself
So
as
more
media.
about the physical, like,
Well, right,
what you're
because
seeing.
my argument is that anime is very overly stimulating and appealing to the eye when you look at the way characters present themselves and the way the
Okay.
visuals are. And I think that something like that, that's so stimulating, is much more easy and catching to a child's brain. It's something that
Big A on this video would have been hard. Hey, I would have had some points to say, bro.
is there for a child to pay attention to and be stimulated by in a way that someone who's older as an adult can give more knowledge to an actual plot line might not care as much about. And for that reason, I think it's childish.
So you think that more of the visual, the color representation, and more like from the art base
Yes.
is what is causing it
Yes,
to be
because
childish?
adults don't need that. But
Okay.
But kids will get into that.
There are animes in black and white. There are animes where people are wearing straight suits and ties the entire time, bro.
That more so, and
Okay.
it'll keep them hooked.
I raise you on that. I raise you on that because there's also things, think of like, if you were to put a show on for a kid, they're more likely to enjoy like a Marvel movie than if you put on, say, just because it's right here, Evangelion, because a lot of
He
shows
definitely
are slow
watches
starters
Family Feud
that-
and Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. Nah, we're good. I'm listening to
The
you.
animation is there for a reason, but in not all aspects of it are there to present to children. Like there are more not like sexualized art styles, but there are more mature art styles that aren't necessarily made to appeal to kids, like the Junji Ito series that they did. Is very-
Exactly! Hey, that's another good one. Uzumaki, bro. This is not for kids. This is gonna creep kids out. Come on now.
Not more
I forgot about that
on
one.
that kind of wave. Or
Yeah,
there's,
Corpse
like,
Party.
Project
That's another one.
Ito's works are very more adult themed and more adult like animated at like a higher level that's not made to appeal to children, or even shows that aren't done in a color grade that would even appeal to people with shorter attention
Of course,
spans.
and I think there are plenty of examples throughout the genre where you're going to find different levels of artistic representation. But my point is, when you look at children's shows across the boards, oftentimes we're not looking at just plain old live action shows, right? There's something there, whether it's the outfits or the animations or the color, right? That is a very common trope we see in kids shows throughout media, and that is something that is consistent throughout the entire genre of anime, which is why it's easier for kids.
Pause. That's 10 flags.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, he has a good point, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's genres that are meant specifically for older people. So his point, like, you can say, what? You can say this about any type of TV show, like any like normal show. You can say the same thing, like the way they want the character to exaggerate to be the comedic relief, so it's not too tense. Like you can say that across every type of media consumption. because yeah, and live action tends to have less detail. It's more like surface level thinking, anyways, right? So like that's another point that would stick more to kids.
What's your name, by the way?
Manny.
Manny? Max. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Come on now.
Going to what I was hearing earlier about outfits. So a lot of the times, if it's not, of course, like clearly like weirdly like over-sexualized stuff that kind of comes up here and there with like really revealing.
Right.
About 60 to 70% of anime includes some fan service, such as suggestive scenes or revealing outfits to attract and entertain viewers.
I think we can both agree that over-sexuality in anime is not for children at all. I'm not here to say that that's
Precisely.
for kids. Let's make that very clear, everyone.
Right. But certain exaggerated clothing, kind of like maybe like My Hero, like a bunch of crazy outfits that kind of show up with their powers and stuff like that, right? Part of like a more mature side of what's going on in these shows. Not to say that that one is, but a good example to say that there are media that have like plain clothing styles and a more deeper hidden meaning behind these plots. I'd like to give the manga Goodnight Pun Pun a good example. Things like that, which is not made for children for sure.
But that's a manga, not an
but
anime.
the reason
That's
why
not
it's
the
for
problem.
kids is because
That's not
that
the
story
argument.
Kind of depicts many of these kind of ideologies in a really like bizarre way.
Because
More-
here's another thing, bro. The reason why you don't see as many like grotesque or like bizarre shows is because like it's just not made for TV. Okay, BRB.
so kind of like internal trauma, like a lot of profanity, violence, themes of assault, which of course should not be displayed in any way to a child. Its target audience not only being for adults, because it's not a book made for kids, clearly.
Sure.
Even when you go to a Barnes & Noble, you'll see it sealed up by the plastic because
So,
there are things in it that you don't
Just
want
out of
to show kids.
curiosity, what do you think is more traumatizing and harmful to a
Pause.
child?
That's 10.
Okay.
Can we finish?
Okay.
I'm not here to argue that those are concepts that children should be exposed to a lot or that are even for kids, right?
Right.
But what I will say is that anime as a genre is confined to its artistic expression, the way it's visually presented, right? And I guess I would ask you then, if you had to pick your child to see a violent act being performed on someone or whatever inappropriate thing it is, would you rather have your child see that from live action cinema or from an anime?
Thank you.
Wait, nah, that's a good question. I think I would say both. This is how I'd win the argument. I would say both because there are violent scenes in live action that they cut away from, or it's like comedic or something like that, to where you can explain to your kid that, hey, this is dangerous. Don't do that. But in anime, they'll like show the full decapitation, like actually, because they're not real people. So, I would say both.
Check out how this app helped me buy whatever I want in my favorite game. Unlimited money makes it so you.
And
can
that's
get what
I'm
you want
sticking to
from
that
the
answer
game,
because
right?
that's my actual answer.
I used to play basketball.
Max,
Misha.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yes, anime, as depicted in mainstream media, is very childlike. But that's because the mainstream media, like the anime that is being shown to a lot of people, is from specifically the shonen or the shoujo aspect, the genres, which are made for children. Sho means like smaller.
Sure.
Nen means like boy. Jo means girl. So smaller boys. Like anime is meant for smaller, younger individuals, younger men or younger like girls.
Yeah,
right?
those are just the most popular ones.
Also, animation in American styles are also having those sense of genres too. My Little Pony is made for like younger girls, and then we also have like Clarence or like The Amazing World of Gumball made for younger male individuals, audiences.
Right.
There are still topics that are being depicted in anime that are not made for children.
Like Family Guy's not for kids.
Are
Sorry,
not as-
in Western animes or in
Japanese animes too, but storylines across both across the world
Sure.
can be not meant for children. So to say that anime is specifically meant for children or is for kids, I don't think is a very accurate nomination of anime as a
Description. I would say
Anime is
description.
about storytelling, and I wholeheartedly agree with you that anime as an art form can have deeper meanings that are not for kids within the literature.
Anime isn't only about storytelling. That's another yo. There's animes that have no point. They're just doing things for no reason. And there's cartoons that do that too. And there's regular live action that do that too.
For sure, right? But I think
And also, anime has more detailed stories that's harder for kids to follow along with because kids tend to have shorter attention spans.
you even agreed with yourself in there that anime as a medium of art can show children and expose children things in a way that's
You get it, ID?
easier and less inappropriate than it otherwise would be. I think we can all agree that seeing someone have their head cut off in a cartoon is much more childish or for children than having them have that happen in a live action film. And look, I'm not here to say that, look, anime can never express real meaning in a story that resonates with adults too, but the inherent nature of the art form is childish if we're going to be showing these overly stimulating images that maybe are easier for a child to engage with than an adult.
All right,
Would you
time's
agree with
up.
that?
That was it. That was 10 minutes.
I don't agree.
All right, Vic.
I disagree. I disagree. Because Blue's Clues. What's another one? There's other ones that the four people with the colors. I forgot their name. Like these are real live action people, and he's gonna say, but they put that stuff inside of it as well. Yeah, but like the main point is the main character. Okay, well, actually, Blue's Clues, the main character is the dude. I almost hit him with a Shoryuken from Street Fighter 6 through the screen. Wait, damn.
What's up, Max?
Good to see you, John.
Love you, bro. Guys, Max, great friend from high school. You know, love him, but his whole point is just inherently flawed. So your main point was that if you were to choose what your kid to watch for animation, getting beheaded, or live action, you choose
Come
animation.
on now.
Sure.
Well, that
It's
completely
not, I don't
doesn't-
want to say that's my main point, but it's a
That-
point.
that- I would say that was your main point, which it does kind of make sense. Of
That's
course,
not-
I want my kid to watch the...
That's not his main point. Is not for kids. No, his main point is that it is for kids. This is a side point that the other person didn't answer well, so he wants to answer it.
animation rather than the live action, but I wouldn't show them either. So why is it just inherently more for kids if I'm watching the animation? That doesn't make sense. Does it make sense?
Well, the point I made is that something that is animated is less traumatizing to
That's
a
not
child
true.
than it would be if it's live action.
That's not true.
Which inherently makes it more childish, more
Okay.
for kids.
I
not
highly
true.
I highly disagree with you. If I showed my kid Berserk, would they not be traumatized from that?
I'm not
Does that make
familiar
sense?
with Berserk.
Well,
Talk about
exactly. Okay, well then maybe you should get more familiarized. Is that the right word? Get more familiar.
No, okay. His argumentation, his argumentative style is dog water. Yo, put me in one of these videos, bro. I'm winning.
I don't need to spend my time watching niche indie
Yeah,
animes,
exactly.
okay? I have better things to do with my time.
This is what I'm saying. Your point does not inherently make any sense. Of course, I do agree with you. Anime was maybe inherently made for kids, but that doesn't mean adults
Okay,
don't
but
watch
to
anime.
describe Berserk to me, Gianni.
I don't want to, just for the sake of getting demonetized. I don't want to. And of course, as my great friend Matt brought up,
Shorty in the back kinda-
interesting
which one?
niche of anime that begins with an H. That is also inherently not for kids. So while I do agree with you, anime in general maybe might be more catered towards children, as you were saying, like Shonen, what we're saying it was made for kids. There's so much other. There's
That
Vinland
describes
Saga.
my argument,
That-
Gianni.
Okay,
right?
yeah, of course.
Of course. You go through kid TV shows, right? I mean, there's kid TV shows that are animated in America that are Western shows, right? But I don't think anyone's gonna go and say Family Guy is for kids, right?
No,
it's not.
disagree.
And the same thing applies to anime.
Okay.
But overall,
Okay,
as a
overall.
genre, compared to live action media, and even the way the images are presented and the art is presented,
Okay.
is more childish.
Okay, maybe you could say it's more childish. Doesn't mean it's for children. And I think it's just an immature view to have if you're saying people who love anime are watching a kids show. How does that make sense to you?
I don't think people who love anime are often watching kids shows, but I think if you're gonna make a show and you want to make it for kids, it's a hell of a lot easier to make it for kids if you're gonna make it animated versus live action.
That's not true.
I agree with that, but again, with my Berserk,
I disagree with that. I think you can make it easier both ways. It's all about how you present the story. You could say, hey, your name is Jim, and your goal is to be very nice to everybody that you meet. And we're going to use very small words when talking. That's how you do this. Boom. Easy kid show. That's live action. And I'm pretty sure people have done that. I don't really watch live action that often. But somebody let me know down in the comments.
Argument. Does that make it?
I'm not.
for
No,
kids just
I'm not
'cause
showing
live
my
action?
kids
know which
Berserk
one?
if that's what you're trying to.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Which one are you talking
But I'm
about?
also not letting my kids watch like Stewie Griffin like talk with Brian about all the things they say. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But then you inherently agree with us that anime is not just made for kids. I think that's what we're all agreeing.
My argument is not that,
it's not just
every
made for
single
kids.
anime is for kids.
Okay.
My argument is
Okay.
that the art style that anime presents itself in is more childish
Okay.
and therefore lends it to be more for kids.
Nah, he's moving the goalpost right now because this is his original argument, just a statement. This is very vague though, and I guess this could be his more detailed. I wish somebody would have asked him what his like real like in detailed statement is. But if this is what he's going off of, then what he's saying now is moving the goalpost to fit his argument better. You know what I'm saying? Bro hasn't seen Bakugan.
Than live action media.
Okay, well, I could come to an agreement with that statement. That sure, I think you changed up your argument a little bit though.
You
That-
did.
Sure.
I think I
the
made that
animation
pretty
is
clear
more.
from the beginning. John.
No, you didn't.
I think I made that pretty clear when I.
No, you didn't.
Bro, I was going, bro. I was going. All right, good. Hey, good go. Dude, I was going crazy.
Performance,
He was going
durability,
crazy.
affordability.
He was
Only
he
one
was
place
going down a
does it
good
all.
path.
Harbor Freight.
Anime is over sexualized. Yeah, just you this time. Also, you get to grab the mic.
I don't know.
Greetings.
Greetings.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, this is pretty true. This makes sense. I can see this one making a lot of sense. Because there's a whole bunch of like crotch shots for absolutely no reason. But that's also in the more shonen and shouju, and also not shouju as much, but like also that's like what's most popular. You know what I'm saying?
What's your name?
CC.
CC Max Caps. Nice
Nice
to meet you.
Okay, so the prompt is that anime is over-sexualized.
Yes, I think
Can you
anime is
please-
over sexualized.
Yeah, can you explain that? Or just like a summary?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look across the genre of anime, not even including hentai, you see a lot of not only just animations that focus on the female body and the way it presents itself to engage viewers,
That's
but
shonen.
also a frightening amount of over-sexualization of children.
Lolly refers to young or childlike female anime characters, and it became more widespread in the 1980s and 1990s. True. It's too much low key. I'm not gonna lie. He has a good point with this. Fire Force proves it, but isn't Fire Force a shonen? Like the problem is that this. I think the majority of really popular animes are shonen, and that's for little boys. So that's why they sexualize the girls a lot. And I think back in the day, girls weren't really watching things. Like girls were doing makeup and playing with dolls and like having conversations. It's only recently that girls are a lot more on the internet. That's why like you see viewership on Twitch and YouTube tends to be more male dominated. Everyone is a gooner basically. No, everyone's a little boy basically, and little boys tend to be gooners because they have a lot of testosterone. And did I say that right? But that's the problem. Boys are the ones that are online watching longer videos like this, or they have been the ones that were doing this longer, right? They get stimulated by the visual stuff like this. Girls like books more and conversations. So that's why this has been, and it was more profitable, I think. So that's why it dominates the whole genre of anime, right? Because that's who's mainly watching this.
Which I think is problematic for the genre overall.
I do agree with the children aspect of it. I don't think
I swear.
think sexualization in children is just wrong. I don't think necessarily that like sexualization in anime is particularly bad if it's tasteful. Like
Okay.
JJK.
Well, I mean,
like,
you're not
I feel like they kind of appeal
proving
to
a
the
point here.
female gaze a little bit. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is not really sexualized at all. Psychopaths not really sexualized at all. Attack on Titan, there might be like little bits of it for the female gaze, but and these are all I would feel like mainstream animes.
It's shonen. But the point that we need to harp on is that it's shonen, bruh. And that's what people tend to like. That's what it is.
I just think
And
it's
that's
like a
why
perspective
it's
thing.
so
like you kind of just
oversaturated.
have to like turn your perspective into like animes that aren't doing that. There are animes like High School DxD,
Yo,
but then like that's the point
Yo,
of the anime.
you're
There are, like,
giving
animes
him
where, like, the
ammo,
genre is,
bruh.
like,
You can't give
I'm
him
gonna bounce
ammo.
my titties and shake my booty, you know what I mean? But like, that's like.
But I'll
Does that
argue that
happen
media in
mainstream
general.
storytelling though?
Yes.
I don't
But
think
it
that
doesn't
happens.
happen necessarily in like mainstream anime. Like I don't think like in Attack on Titan, like My Hero Academia, like they're not like bouncing their titties.
My Hero
like,
Academia is crazy. But
Attack
Attack on Titan? No.
like-
Naruto?
But there's nothing
Not
wrong
really
with that
at
if
all,
it's
actually.
tasteful. I think if like someone is dying and all of a sudden she's like bouncing her titties and stuff like that, that's like distasteful. But if it's like
No one like My Hero
there's nothing
Academia?
wrong.
A lot of
I don't
people-
think
a lot
there's
of weird
anything
people
wrong
like
with
My
it
Hero
as long as it's
Academia.
tasteful and it's for adults and it's not minors.
All right, flags.
Wait,
A
everyone
lot of weird people like My Hero.
You made some good points, but I guess not everyone else thinks that. So goodbye.
They don't know what they're talking about.
3, 2.
Bro, put me in one of these, man.
Let's talk salary.
I'd win.
What do you typically offer for this?
He'd be
role?
stumped. Actually
And if
stumped.
it was a
Because he
number,
doesn't know anything about anime.
Hello.
You got a mic? You're mic'd up?
Yeah, I'm mic'd up.
All right.
So I actually,
Max, by the way.
we don't need to do the handshakes.
Oh, yeah,
I actually
it's not that
think
serious.
Anime is undersexualized, but you want to know why? Wait, no.
The anime men do not approve with this message. Yo. Oh, that is hilarious.
No, let me finish. Put your hand up. Put the hand up. Put the hand up. Put the hand up.
Put the hand up?
Put the hand up. Let me cook. Let me cook. No, let me cook. Let me cook. Okay, I will. My one point, okay, is look. Like Cece said, you know, there's you can sexualize both sides, right? Boom, whatever.
Yeah.
But since like 2005, there's this genre, right? It's called the ecchi genre, which means wait, guys, please. I didn't get to argue with y'all. Give me a chance.
Like, you just giving him ammo, dude.
Hold on, let me like fix this. All right. All right, Matt, good to see you again.
See you again.
All right. You got a mic?
I disagree because I think out of everyone here, I have a pretty Western view of anime. I watch dub.
What is Western view of anime?
I don't,
watch
yeah.
dub. I watch dub.
That doesn't
I'm
matter.
new to
That
anime,
doesn't
right?
matter.
I will
Yo, what's
say,
up, Mar?
Hollywood is very over-sexualized. I remember when I was a kid.
Okay,
watching
that's not the
Transformers
point.
series.
Yeah, that's not the point, though. They're not arguing the point. Dude, hi. How you doing? Yo, Mar, you missed me losing another E-date. Now we're reacting to this.
Megan Fox, lift up that hood.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. You know, that was pretty sexualized for me, and I was young, right?
Is that good or bad?
That's if we're talking about over-sexualized, that's bad, right? So I can say Hollywood is just as
that's
over-sexualized
not
as
the
anime,
point.
you know, like Black Widow. She wears her tight suit. That's pretty sexualized to me.
Yeah, I think the difference is with anime, you have an entire fan base where the idea of pedophilia is a bit more ambiguous than it can be in any other kind of genre, right? That is a norm within the anime community that I've observed, and I think that's problematic, and that's why I would argue that anime is over-sexualized.
I think he cooked me.
Is that true, though?
The flags are up.
I think the my problem with this is that people that get into anime tend to be younger and then they grow up still watching anime, right? And a lot of in Japan, the age of consent is a lot younger, so that's why this is like the style of storytelling, right? But it's mainly for shonen, bro. And the people that are watching it, once again, they grow up, and it's like, this is what I've been watching, so I'm gonna keep watching what I was watching when I was a little kid. You know what I'm saying? Chat, what do y'all think, bro? I think that's a good argument, actually.
All right.
Ivan, nice to meet you.
Max.
So, I want to start by asking, do
Valid.
you think that
Oh, no.
the things you were just describing, is that more common in anime than other sources of media, like television or movies?
You know, I think that's a fair...
Pedophilia? Yeah.
point, and there's plenty of sexualization.
Kuma.
Even if you look at shows in Hollywood that have sexualized children, right? That's bad.
Right.
The problem is the ambiguity. The problem is with drawings and cartoons, it's a little bit more normalized and acceptable socially to see a drawing of someone who's a 10-year-old and be attracted to that, unless
That's
it's compared
shonen.
to it being a kid in an actual show.
That's
live
shonen.
action, right?
That's shonen.
That's problematic to me because it still allows people to practice those mind behaviors when they shouldn't be doing that.
Right, and my point goes into, you look at a show like Euphoria or Riverdale, shows that are clearly also sexualizing, people who are explicitly depicted to be underage. And that is also considered a very mainstream show in Western audiences.
Very true.
Now, would you say that those shows also represent the entire media of television as a whole? Because if we're using the singular individual examples from anime to represent the entire genre, then you should be able to do the same thing for a show like Euphoria or Riverdale, who are clearly showing these children, these teenagers who are explicitly depicted to be in their teens, doing drugs, having relations that are more than friendly. So I think that if you're looking at it as the genre of anime shows this more than others, I think the same should be shown for movies and for television. That's my main point.
No, it's a fair point. I would just argue that you're wrong by saying that the shows like Euphoria are just as much of a minority in Western media as shows that are more problematic with sexualization as they are in anime. I think they're much more prevalent. From my experience with anime,
I don't have that much
obviously,
experience.
I have my biases,
Mainly
but
seen
I
shonen.
stand firm in my belief that
Mainly
anime is
seen
more
shonen.
sexualized to that extent than
Mainly
Western
see
media.
shonen.
Gotcha, and I'll respect your personal perspective on that. But as a whole, I do believe that if we're using the individual examples that we have personally experienced, because I haven't personally watched that many animes that over-sexualize the characters. I tend to avoid shows like that in general. So does that mean that because I don't see them, that the genre doesn't have those as an issue? I watch shows like, Dragon Ball, like
Exactly.
One Piece. Shows
One Piece
that
is kinda
They might
sexualized.
have it in there, but not to the same extent as
Naruto.
other shows. Does that mean that my personal experience is going to dictate the entire genre?
It shouldn't. And you know what? I think voices like you are important. More people like you should represent the anime community because you're right. It's important to understand that
The
it's
second
minority.
anime
But
removes
to people
Fudas
like
and
me
Femboys, I'm
in
gonna destroy
America
everything.
who
Nami is
understand anime
exactly.
not from watching a ton of series, but seeing clips online and seeing the videos these motherfuckers make, then yeah,
I feel you.
right?
Trafalgar Law.
But that's my point. Is that 10 or we switch it? Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Now that was a good one. Do you understand?
Hi, Max. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, I'm Ray.
Ray?
I don't think necessarily anime is over-sexualized. I think particularly the Japanese culture is over-sexualized.
What does that mean?
So I was just in Tokyo. Everything in Japan, I would say that they lean more towards sexualizing.
Let's
these
get one thing straight.
What
It's
the
not a
heck is
cheeseburger.
this sound? Oh, is that one? What the heck? Okay. Why did that happen? Okay. Japan's anime industry often uses fan service to attract viewers and boost sales, but not all shows include it. Exactly, dude.
Of stuff more than other cultures. It's not necessarily the anime. I would say it's more than what it came from.
But isn't anime as a medium of Japanese culture by extension over-sexualized if Japanese culture is?
That is true, but you could say that about other cultures as well. You could say that about Western culture, about how Westerners tend to idolize women with big boobs. They show that a lot in live action.
I
And
see it a lot in anime too.
You see that a lot in anime too.
See it a
but,
lot everywhere.
Again, it's
See it a lot
something
everywhere.
that the Japanese tend to like more than.
So it's okay when Japan does it because they like the titties more than we do.
That's also not what I'm saying.
I think every part of the
Sorry, I was
world
being a bit of an ass
loves
there, but we'll talk
sex.
more.
Every part of the world loves sexualizing things. That's why everything has it.
Next topic. The anime community ruins anime.
Dude, hold on, because this is actually okay. before the big switch up, right? The big 2020 COVID, everybody had nothing to do, so everybody was online watching anime, right? That when the big boom happened. I think that before then, people that were watching anime were way more niche and a lot more weird, right? But because it's become so normalized, I think the majority of people that watch anime nowadays are like gym heads or gamers. That's what it is. And like, it's like more normal. Like gamers also used to be weird, but now that it like has a big boom and everybody's like on Twitch and playing video games, it's way less weird. So I would say if you said this argument before 2019, yeah, but after COVID, no. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what you predominantly see on social media because that's the stereotype, because that was the origin. But nowadays, a normal anime watcher, like all of us in chat, besides maybe Premium, because he likes futas. Like, what's wrong with you, bro? Actual ID, me, Mar's a little edgy, though. I'm not gonna lie. But we all are like normal individuals. Like, we're just chilling. But, yeah.
Esteban?
Max, nice to meet you.
Can I have you explain why is it toxic?
You said
when you look at the way fans interact with the media itself, there's a lot of gatekeeping and there's a lot of unnecessary ranking systems that I think lead to exclusion and resentment rather than just
this is your
overall
argument?
acceptance within the community. For example,
this is a interesting. Okay, Chad, what do y'all think about this one? Because I think every time there's a ranking system, like saying Naruto's better than Luffy, like it's just something to talk about. Like, it's not serious at all. And if you don't understand that, then you're not an anime watcher. So I guess if that's what you're talking about, that makes sense. But I would argue that you have bad social awareness of like the type of communication. Because even when people are getting heated, bro, I've never once talked to somebody that disagreed with me with the Luffy Naruto thing and was like, yeah, they actually hate me now. Like, it's like all fun and games. So like, if you can understand the social cues, and like that's also not a really big problem. If you can't tell, I currently have my hands in my pockets right now. True.
Example,
Come on now.
I have often seen anime fans say, oh, if you haven't watched this anime or this specific niche indie anime, then you're not a real fan.
And okay, that argument, I've done this, bro. And it's because it's like saying this is so good, you need to watch it. Like, it's just like how anime fans are like, bro, this story was so compelling, enticing, changing of my values and mindset that I want to force it down somebody else's throat. Like, but like, obviously it's like you can do what you want, but it's like, if you haven't watched this, what's wrong with you? But it's like not serious, bro. People do that all the time with like games, like people rank games and stuff too. Like, people do that with everything. Like, oh, you don't like this music artist? What's wrong with you, bro? Or you don't know this song in this album? You're not a real fan. Like, people do that with everything.
I think that mindset is problematic and leads to the community being perceived as toxic.
Okay.
The community's
Don't you
not
think that's also very common in other forms of media? Such as like music. I feel like it was very common with music though, with a thing where it's like, oh, if you haven't listened to this artist, you're not a real fan. Name 3 songs.
Yeah,
of
but
that.
I think there's plenty of like musicians who you can say their fan base is toxic.
But
right?
it's not just musicians in the end. It's also just like TV shows.
I don't think the whole like. I don't think there's a whole.
Holy pre-fire.
Let's put it
I
this way.
know what I'm talking about.
You could say that some musicians have a toxic fan base. You could say that some TV shows have a toxic fan base. Then you could say that about like Rick and Morty, for example, right? But my point is though, anime, like I don't think anyone's coming out and saying that fans of music or fans of television overall are toxic. But I think you
People
could
have
make
said
that
that.
argument much stronger about anime when you look at its fan base.
Well, anime is way more like broad. If you're talking about artists, right? Like, people say the genre of rock, like rock people are demonic or like very weird because the guys are screaming and stuff like that. Or people with that like country have bad taste in music. Like, that's a stereotype because most people don't listen to country. Or like pop is like too mainstream and boring. All the people that listen to that are bots. Have you met the Nicki Minaj fan base? That's toxic. True. And that's a part of a bigger genre. So if you go bigger and bigger, then you could say that. But like, if you go from anime to saying shonen or something even more niche, like Naruto specifically, then you can have arguments for those type of specific parts of the whole, right? Because the whole is anime and the whole is music. So that point doesn't matter. Even Drake fan base. And bro, most fan bases have a little toxicity in them because people like to do that with everything. People love doing that with everything, bro. Like you saying Kendrick's better than you're a Kendrick fan, and now that's toxic.
There's toxicity everywhere.
Yeah, there's toxicity
but
everywhere.
There's
Exactly.
a higher presence of it in anime.
No,
based
it's
on the way
not.
fight-
No, that's a lie.
I
That's a
think
lie.
that's more of a loud minority rather than a majority of fans. Because I've been to multiple conventions myself. I've met people. I feel like most people I've met that are big fans of anime, just like anime, they don't like really properly gatekeep it. You're just talking about like a very loud minority.
That is true.
Where it's like they're just like weird. I agree that there's weird people.
Problem
there.
is when it
There's weird
comes to
people everywhere.
content creation, these content creators and these influencers have an outside voice compared to other genres as a whole. And if you want your fandom, anime, to stop being perceived as such, then more people need to create content that doesn't perceive that message or spread it.
Okay, I get where you're
Hey,
coming from.
I'm gonna be that person.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe you shouldn't get a girlfriend.
Yeah, I should. You're right. I'm not.
I didn't understand.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, man.
Oh, yeah.
Max is one of my good
What'd
high
he
school
say?
friends. So
This is
we
my
know
best
each other
friend
very
right
well.
here.
So your argument is that gatekeeping is the toxic part.
Yeah, I think gatekeeping is a trait and a behavior you see in a lot of people in communities that are toxic, yes.
Yes, of course. So I actually don't think that in itself makes anime or the community toxic.
Why?
Right? Because I think the majority of the community is actually accepting of
Exactly. We want to put people
other
on.
people and bringing
I
them
want
into
people to
the
watch anime.
topic of anime.
You think
We
these
sure?
guys are accepting?
I think I actually would argue that they are accepting.
It's like more joking. Big A, have you met the I Hate Spider-Man and Marvel Rivals fan base? I think I talk to support players all the time. Axel's one of them. I think I see him. I hate BP.
In fact, the anime men specifically make videos about anime that have like, sure, very specific jokes and things that tailor to that audience, but I think that they aren't gatekeeping, if that makes sense. And in fact, they actually expand their audience by like making music videos to popular songs and such, which I think actually creates an environment where they're actually being more inviting.
Exactly.
See, I think you're wrong. You're talking about maybe a community of creators here that have done a great job, but
Yeah.
I think so often you go into spaces where people really engage with the content, and you find someone that they're just gonna say, oh, well, this character in this season is this amount of powerful, and this person in this episode, who would beat who in this dynamic?
Okay, now
and it's
this
like all
is
this,
the
like,
first
back
thing
and
that I
forth and
talked about.
arguing
That's-
and like twisting
it's
their
not
nutsack
real.
around, and
Yeah.
it's like, come on now.
That's not
like, That's not what
serious.
this is about. Like, it's fun, but you can't
Exactly.
get so upset about arguments
Nobody's getting
against
upset.
the topic if you want it to be fun. And
At all.
I see that too often when I've seen anime being perceived.
Anime is
outside.
anime is literally what gets all of us together. He needs to stay in his frats. Okay, right now you're gatekeeping. But that dude, he doesn't understand like the anime dynamic. Like that is like a banter between the anime community. That's how we like talk to each other. Because it's like you want to talk about a specific scene in the anime because you didn't get to see this person for a while, right? So you bring up a point and it leads to deeper conversations, and then it leads to, well, he was so sick in this moment, and then somebody says, in this moment, this other character was sick, and then you guys are like, well, it'd be fun to put them against each other. Nah, my character's better, but it's like joking. He doesn't like, yo, put me in this, bro. Put me in,
Also
coach.
Make this clear. I am perceiving all these arguments as someone who is not a part of the anime community.
Of course.
And that's important when you're
Luffy
talking
better
about
than
a
Naruto.
genre
Bro, fuck
making
you.
its way into being more mainstream.
Yeah.
Right? You can have your spaces in the community that work, but if people outside aren't seeing it as such, which I think it's fair to say there's a substantial amount of people who share my feelings outside of the anime community, then what's the point?
Yeah, no, it's a great argument.
I think, I'm sorry, I'm pausing a lot because I have a lot to say, bro. I think the majority of people that don't watch anime just think anime is weird, or people that watch anime is weird. I don't think that it's necessarily that the community is ruining it through what he's saying. I can see if he's saying people are weird and that's what's ruining it, but that goes back to my point of the big boom in 2020, right? So it's no longer weird people. That's a minority of people. So yeah.
Still, the outside take doesn't define what a community is as its whole, right? That's just a perspective that maybe you have, and I'm sure other people have too. But being in the actual community itself, it's not that toxic, right? And I believe this because, sure, there are people that have these debates. Most of them are actually just funny, friendly banter.
Exactly.
Right? I would say that there's maybe the 1%, like it's like a little too heated, right? But I think that's like a reflection on themselves, like
instead of the
individually,
anime community.
and it doesn't like affect the entire community, if that makes sense. It's only a very small minority. So the community itself is not toxic. That would be my debate.
I would disagree. But
yeah, I mean, I think that's all
I
I'm
have
saying.
no more on this topic.
Yeah.
That was good.
If anyone else would like to debate this, please go to the table in 3, 2, 1.
All right, I'm gonna leave you there. Hello.
Oh, your guys' shoelace is tied together.
Yeah. So you think the anime community is what ruins anime? Honestly, I think the anime community makes anime better.
Exactly.
Look at where anime was 10 years ago.
I don't know where
People
was
were,
it 10 years
people were
ago?
made fun of
There was
for
no
liking
community
anime.
10 years ago.
People were made.
Now it's
people were
something to
made fun
relate
of
over.
for liking anime.
Good.
People were bullied, but now it is so more welcome than it was 10 years ago because of the community. Look at all the expos and conventions.
I don't think, actually, hold on. I haven't been to an expo, so that could be true. But I think it's because of the big boom. Like, I think anime, this is factual. People aren't going to just watch anime just out of nowhere. Like, they need some type of incentive. And people that do watch anime were like, hey, man, watch this. This is pretty dope. And then the second people that don't watch anime finally watch anime, they see how amazing it is. And then they start telling their friends about it. And that's how it spreads, because you want to put people onto anime because anime is so good. That's how it actually works. I told my friends to watch anime and they laughed at me. Yeah, bro. It's like that. This comes from people that don't understand it. So it's like the anime community is always trying to expand the community. Always. Just like people that smoke weed, they always want to make everybody smoke weed, or alcoholics like to make everybody drink alcohol. Like that's literally what it's like. So it's a good thing because it's actually healthier to watch anime because you can learn from anime. You can't learn from drinking and smoking weed. Or the people that want you to have sex. Like that's also a bad culture.
Where all these fans come together.
I know, man.
Right? What do you mean? Okay, no. You guys agree. You guys agree. You guys all agree. You too. Because like, think about it. Think about it, Matt. So basically, the anime community is what brings anime more open, right? Look at all the Crunchyroll awards or all these award shows. All these big celebrities are coming out into the open of their love for anime because of what the community brings. It's not like Star Wars. Because you look at communities in Western media, they are way more toxic than the anime community.
How are they toxic?
Do I even need to go into that? Yeah, what? How is a Star Wars fan more toxic? You're toxic. I'm toxic. You're toxic. You're toxic.
See, that's ad hominem. You're insulting me. That's
I'm insulting you. You're insulting me.
You literally did
Your
insult
tie's
her.
uneven. Fix your tie. You know, I will.
When you get how you know yourself a little
go,
bit
man.
and being
No.
high plus watching anime,
Walk
you
away.
just love.
Go. I'm walking. Good boy.
Alright, 10 seconds.
Welcome to the
Summarize
booth.
report. My name's Cade. Summarize report. No, summarize report real quick. I was falling asleep. It was boring. Speed it up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't think I need
You're
to-
crazy.
If you're falling asleep
You're
to
insane.
what I say, then
You're
I'm not gonna
manipulating me
repeat
now
myself.
too. What?
I don't need to speak again for someone who's falling asleep.
Stinky points, bro. Everything you say is cap. We're right.
Nah, I want to hear an actual debate. Somebody's gonna clip that. Somebody's gonna clip that.
Next
No.
topic. Cosplaying is weird.
All right, if you would like to go up.
That's an opinion. Bro, that's an opinion, bro. Like, how do you, I mean, all of these are kind of opinion based, but like some of them have more stats behind them, like statistics to them. Cosplaying is completely subjective because people either want to do it or they don't want to do it. A lot of anime watchers don't want to cosplay. I don't really want to cosplay. Ever, actually. But I do it for content because I think it would be funny or cool or relatable because other people know what I'm doing whenever I put on the Edward Elric cloak. You know what I'm saying? Me who wants to cosplay as Law this Halloween. That's what I'm saying, bro. Bro, people cosplay for Halloween too. That's another point. People love dressing up as bunnies and stuff. You only think it's weird because you don't know like the meaning behind dressing up as the character. If you understood the meaning behind dressing up as the character, like what that character has done for the person, then you would understand that it's not weird. Now, furries. I don't care, bro. The furry community can hate me. Once I get bigger, this might be something that cancels me. I think furries are weird. Specifically the ones that want to have sex with animals. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, hello. Treat, nice to meet you.
Max.
So I disagree with that, and I would like to ask, what make it weird for you?
Yeah, well, I'll just say this: there's nothing wrong with cosplaying. I think if someone like finds enjoyment out of doing cosplaying,
Okay,
then
what
they
is
should
your-
do it.
you don't have an
But
argument.
I don't think anyone would say it's normal or like a thing that's not weird, right? Define weird as something that's not normal and maybe a little bit strange way to behave. And
Bro, people, yo, every singular person is weird in their own way. Everybody does strange things daily, right? Everybody does strange things. Bro, I bet one of you guys right now is sitting with your legs crossed for no reason. Absolutely no reason. And you look weird, right? like I'm so serious, bro.
I don't think anyone would argue or find it accurate that cosplaying isn't weird.
I can see that. So
I can't.
Okay. From your perspective, it's usually
Because it's all opinion.
Stereotyping. That's usually make your brain lump down everything, just kind of break it out over a individuality of how someone can be very complex as a person. We want to express ourselves. What's considered weird to you because it is out of your social norm?
Exactly,
Something can
it's
be-
out of social norm.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Especially in America, there's a lot of diverse culture in here, so you get to see a lot of perspective. Like for cosplayer, there's in Asia, Vietnamese, Chinese, Korean, Japanese. It's not just essentially just a hobby. It's also like a way for us to express ourselves. There's a bunch of holiday that you can
How do
dress
you
up.
express yourself though by pretending that you're someone that you're not? That I don't understand. Explain that to me.
Because
Okay,
the
you're not
characters.
you're not technically pretending as someone else. You're showing your love for the character.
Exactly. The love for the character, and it's like relatable. That's what I think of whenever I see it. It's all opinion based though. Like you can make any type of point, and you would be right in your own way here. But yeah. So like his point is right, but the other person's point is also right. This guy is naive. I think he's just going with very outlandish points. That he could just believe in all of these things completely. But what he said at the beginning of this was like, you can do what you want. Like it's not wrong or weird. He did say it was weird. It's not wrong, which means that it's okay. Which something being okay means that it's acceptable and kind of normal, right? So like then the weird part comes in, and that's where the very subjectiveness comes in. You know what I'm saying?
And a way to do it is, for cosplaying, saying that is also a little bit like vague. It's oversimplifying a lot of point as well.
And what's the difference between dressing up in a costume and cosplaying?
For that point, it's the same because in America, Halloween you're allowed to wear a costume. It's just a Western way to saying that. For cosplay,
Yeah, it's literally the
just
same thing.
how most people in Asia decide to
Describe it.
It's just a word that we define ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's the same thing as dressing up for a costume.
Yeah,
It's like
there's
saying
nothing
role
weird
playing.
about it.
It's
It's
like-
weird because
yeah,
your brain
dressing up.
reinforces older stereotype, and because it's
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's weird to dress up. I think it's weird if you internalize it, right? If you're dressing up, constantly internalizing, this is like
Exactly.
a second secret identity I have, and that's weird. And I think that's something I have observed in a lot of the anime community, frankly.
You cannot say that. I disagree, because that's take a very minority and just kind of sum it up. And
Okay, and that's weird. That's weird, right?
That's a minority though. That's
It's weird if you.
That's
if you're
not
dressing
no. Nah. See, he thought he cooked there. This dude did not cook. He's talking about a minority of people, and he also just said that it's not weird to dress up. He just said it's weird to internalize, and most people don't internalize and think they are this character. Most people don't do that. Like, if you ask them, "Are you actually this person?" They're gonna be like, "No, I'm just wearing a fit, bro." Like, what are we doing? Yo,
for
what?
something and thinking that like internalizing the identity of what
Because
you're
it's out
dressing
of
up
your
as.
social norm, your brain thinking like that's very narrow-minded, especially in America. There's so many different cultures out there.
Yeah.
It's just a way for us to express ourselves. And
All right, that's 10. Please walk off. You've been voted out.
Thank you.
3, 2, 1.
Hello,
Hi.
my name's Athena.
Max, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So before I continue,
I'm actually
I would just
Itachi
like
from
you to
Naruto in
reiterate
IRL.
your point directly to me.
Yeah. So the point I made last is that cosplay, if you want to do it and it's the way you want to enjoy yourself, that's fine. But it's weird.
There it is. That was your original point. Moving the goalpost now.
Especially if you're internalizing the identity that you are dressing up as when you're cosplaying.
So I understand where you're coming from, but you do have to acknowledge not all cosplayers do that. Personally, when I cosplay, I don't view myself as that character. I view myself as expressing my appreciation and love for this character. And the basis of that is outside of a hobby. It is to connect with others. And then cosplay in itself is a very popular hobby.
And on top of this, then it would mean that he thinks that people that act and people that make music as well, or any type of like art, could also be seen as weird, because actors have to internalize the character that they are. Like, they have to get into character, which is like internalizing it, right? And then some music artists rap or talk about things that aren't real, right? So they have to get into the mode of, oh, I'm a rapper. Let me talk about some things that I feel make sense. So they're like internalizing themselves as a rapper, talking about things that aren't true, but they're making themselves out to be that character. And then they may make a music video acting that way and being like, that's internalizing like that in that way as well. So like, if that's what you're saying, then you're saying that about that as well. But that's not your original point anyway, so you've already lost, buddy. And they dress up too, exactly.
And again, self-expression is very important. So cosplay aside, when other people indulge in their hobbies, do you find their hobbies weird?
It depends on the hobby. I think my point is that if you want to dress up as something, that's fine. But
you lost your point.
If you're going around dressing up like a dog and barking like a dog, that's weird. And I don't think that's normal.
That's a furry.
Again, I
That's
still
a-
fully
that's a
support
furry.
their right to bark like a dog if they want to. Go ahead and do it. But
that's weird.
That's weird. And like, again,
that is weird.
We'll extrapolate overall in the anime community as you have people that are in character and sort of taking on the
No, what is
identity
that?
role
What is
and
this dude
acting
on?
out their
Exactly.
character often for extended periods of time, right? I think that's
Actors.
weird, right? Because then you're ignoring yourself and
Actors.
you're ignoring your life as a person, an actual person, and that's weird.
So before I continue to my next point, I do want to acknowledge, yes, while that is a thing, there is a generalization. You are blurring the lines between cosplay and identifying as something. And when you cosplay, you don't inherently identify. So creating that generalization is unfair to the cosplay
I mean,
community.
he's already lost the point, so he's just moving the goalpost to like win, and it's like not even working because it's his whole argument's falling apart because the foundation of it is already incorrect because he's saying it's okay to cosplay. I love the girl in red. This girl back here.
As a whole. And again, on top of that, it is a hobby. It is something people make careers out of. It is a form of self-expression.
And that's a normal way to make a career?
I mean, are freelances artists normal careers?
No, and then you could say that's weird though, too. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's just weird. It's not normal. Isn't that what weird is? Something that's not normal?
But everybody isn't normal.
But it's only not normal because you have that prejudice in your mind. If you look past what you already view as weird.
Good job.
Next person, if you would like to debate this, please walk to the table in 3, 2, 1. Ooh.
It's
welcome
nice,
back.
nice
Yeah.
to see you again. So this is, okay, I have a lot to say on this one.
Okay.
I'm a cosplayer, not currently, but I do this professionally. This is my job. I make a living off of this, so
Yeah.
I have a lot to just expose
Okay.
your brain to.
Yo,
this.
where do the anime men live?
So you are definitely adding on to what Adina was saying, blurring a line between cosplayers
Premium?
and
a very small minority of the community who get like a very overly emotional attachment and start to identify as a certain character. But let me ask you, have you ever been to Disneyland?
Of course.
Where do what live?
Have you seen
the Anime Men? I want to eventually I want to collaborate with these people because I think like things that I want to be known for is I want to be somebody that inspires people to make good decisions and do better. I also want to be a person that is known for being funny. I want to make people laugh, and I also want to be known for like making people love anime. Like I feel like if more people watched anime, bro, this shit would go crazy. And I also want people to know me for being good at games. All of those together is what I want to be known for, and potentially I also want to be an actor. I have a lot of big dreams. I also want to be like the biggest content creator that could do all of these and just connect I want to connect like every single person in the world. And if I can connect everybody onto anime, bro, that shit would go crazy. Sorry, yeah, let me get back on point. Big A, where's your, yo? I don't want to be a fanboy, bro. I can't do that. I make bad decisions.
Character actors at Disneyland.
What you mean you can't do that?
Those are cosplayers.
Exactly, they're
Those are
cosplayers,
blacks, so I start
but
following
they're
shoes.
specifically in character as those people, and they're getting paid to do
But
that.
what would
But-
you call the people then who?
But cosplayers are not necessarily the people who work at Disneyland. So not all cosplayers are going to be emulating that character that they're cosplaying.
What would you call those people then who are emulating their character?
Character actors, and that is not a character actor is not a cosplayer.
That's even weirder. Damn. Okay.
But that's a profession, and people make a lot of money doing that. But cosplay is very different, and while cosplayers can cosplay, like Disney characters or Marvel characters or comic book characters or anime characters, you have to think about how it is also an industry, and it really is an industry.
Yeah, voice
in
actors are
itself.
also weird
Like,
in his mind
people
because
are
it's acting.
selling, their services. Cosplay is one of the only hobbies, I feel, that encapsulates hundreds of different skills and professions and so many different things that take to make it, and saying that that is weird is like saying that all of these other umbrellas underneath it are also weird. In fact, it's actually very impressive to be able to combine so many different skills and efforts and careers and fields into one singular thing, and I feel like there's not many things in terms of hobbies that do that, but that's not inherently weird. I feel like that is actually very impressive to the normal person.
Can't something be both weird and impressive though?
I feel it. I mean,
Yes.
Like,
that's
isn't
just-
it weird?
Yes.
Like when you
But
have a kid,
that's-
like
That
I have
is
a friend,
true.
for
Personal
example,
bias.
and he can multiply like 2-3 digit numbers like in his head within like 10 seconds.
Okay.
That's weird. It's also really impressive.
It's very
right?
impressive.
True.
But
that
it's a little weird.
This is why everybody is a little weird in their own way, because everybody has a type of talent like this. The champion of the hot dog eating contest. Exactly. That's weird. People that can do mental math. That's weird. People that are really fast. People would use the word unique, but that is still weird. People that are really tall. That's weird. People that are really short. That's weird. People that are really fat, people that are really skinny, people that have too many teeth, people that have too many appendages. These things are all weird, but they can be talented with these. People named Big A, weird. I am a weird individual, but I'm unique and cool, and so are you. I just sent an instant edit. People with massive foreheads.
Like what's going on
Bro,
in your
look.
head?
But I also feel like that. Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's definitely a statement.
Whoa, hold on.
Like
What are you
that-
saying?
But within like 10 seconds.
Okay.
That's weird. It's also really impressive.
It's
Two hands
very
on the body.
impressive.
That's weird.
But like it's a little weird. Like what's going on in your head?
But I also feel like that. Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's definitely a statement. I feel like
Why
your
are you?
perspective.
No. Why are you responding like that? That's not a bad thing to say. What's going on in your head that you can solve something in 10 seconds. That's like, yeah. I don't like how. See, I don't like that, bro. Like, yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, he's not smart. Axel, we've been known. My bad.
So far has been inherently negative weird, but here you are also acknowledging that things can be impressive but weird to you.
No, look,
and
I love-
feel
I
like
love
in
the
that
people
sense,
that get
it's coming
into
down
what
to
they
your
care about.
personal bias, and you are starting to think less of a whole objectively and more debating on your personal bias.
That's not true. Okay. I think that. I've made it very clear during this discussion that I think people can have fun and they should have fun being cosplayers. I have nothing against people doing that and expressing themselves. I just think it's weird, and that's why I don't do it. I mean, you could argue that me wearing a suit to this fucking debate is a little weird, but here we are.
It fits the bill. It's
yeah,
fun.
isn't that cosplaying though? A little
It
bit? So aren't I
is!
technically cosplaying right
It
now?
is!
But aren't I a little weird for showing up
See,
to debate 20 people
it
about anime in a
is!
suit?
And
Like that makes me weird.
I even have another point. So, fun fact, and this is kind of a
Where's
fun
your
fact.
jawline?
So the word you talked earlier about like Halloween.
Where's
And,
your jawline? Yeah.
That's a very good point to bring up because cosplay can be Halloween. You're dressing up as a character, your kids dress up, your family dresses up, and
Yeah.
so that's a very normalized occasion in the West for people who maybe are into whatever they like. If they're really into Marvel or if they're really into that, that's not weird.
That's normal, but I guess the point is when people use the word cosplay in media, they're not talking about Halloween. They're not even really talking about someone at like a fair that's like dressing up.
I'm so glad
right?
that you mentioned
They're talking
the
about
word.
motorcycle
No,
made guy.
I'm so glad that you mentioned the word cosplay because that's another fun fact. So a very long time ago, I believe sometime around the 50s or 60s, and somebody fact check me on that.
The term cosplay was coined in 1984 by Japanese journalist Nobuyoku Yuki Takahashi after attending the World Science Fiction Convention in Los Angeles, inspiring Japan's cosplay culture that began growing in fan conventions during the late 1970s. Bruh, yeah, it's just another word to describe costumes.
But some kind of convention gathering, I can't remember exactly what it was happening over here in the United States, and a reporter from Japan came to scope it out, check it out, and brought, saw what we were doing here, dressing up as characters from comics and series that we like, and brought that back and wrote an article, and thus the word cosplay was formed by creating, combining costume and play. And when you translate that into, to make it fit into the Japanese language, it comes out as cosplay. And cosplay is that. So it didn't the word itself is literally just describing people dressing up, and that could have been Halloween, that could have been
that's
everything.
fine.
The word itself is the same.
And that's fine. And I guess my point is, I have nothing against people dressing up, but the way cosplay is used in our media often describes more than that, right? It often describes, and obviously it
In
seems
which
like you
media
have a lot.
specifically?
I'm talking about Western media.
Western
Online
media?
people on the internet here in the United States, right?
Okay, and that's from
hold
your
on, let me-
experience
let me-
from not being in the community to see the full depth of that
Absolutely,
media.
I recognize that. But I think my point is if we're having a good faith debate about the word, then the way people understand the word as a whole matters, right? Even if it's necessarily not the definition.
Okay.
That's how language works. It matters. And
Okay.
my
But
take is
could you also argue that do you feel like what type of cosplay are you talking about? Are you talking about people who craft, people who
She's
dress
not
up for
cooking anymore,
Halloween?
bro.
Like if
not
if
cooking
cosplay
anymore.
is
No, I'm talking
such
about
a
if we're
whole-
talking about like what's objectively weird, we're talking about people
Yeah,
who
what is
go out in
objectively
public
weird to you?
and internalize their characters and pretend they're someone they're not. Again, I totally have the right to do that, but I'm saying people, if that's not cosplay,
Have
then
you experienced
that's
those
fine.
people in person? Have you talked to somebody who is genuinely believing that they are that character?
Yes.
And what are the odds that you think you would meet somebody like that if you were to go into a designated space for cosplayers, con goers, anime lovers? What do you think is the probability that you would meet
I'm
somebody?
sure it's a spectrum, and there's probably most people like Motorcycle
do you
Maid who are
have a
pretty chill,
probability of
actually.
that,
But do I what?
It's like
You're asking me, do I have a
it's
problem?
a probability of it.
oh.
Like it's probably
I
one
think
in
it's
500.
very
at
likely.
least.
Yeah, sure. And then 1 in 500 people are weird, and that's fine.
But when you, ooh, I would love.
All right, the next topic is live action will always be better than animation.
Please go up in
No.
3, 2, 1.
That is such an opinion.
All right. Welcome.
Hi,
Hi, Max.
Michelle.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
So
nah.
please describe why do you think live action is better?
Yo, literally just compare live action Dragon Ball to the anime Dragon Ball. That already solves the problem. Like, if that's your argument, you've already lost with that, bro. Death Note live action versus Death Note the anime. You've already lost, bro. He's already lost.
It's not a matter of the art itself. I think something can be great in both categories. My argument is more so if you
Compare
look at
live action Avatar?
the most impactful pieces of media.
You talking about the blue
that
version?
have been created.
The most impactful pieces of film are live action, including Citizen Kane, The Birth of a Nation, and Star Wars. The most impactful pieces of film? That's not true. Attack on Titan is very impactful. Naruto is very impactful. I think this is a Western view of what's the most impactful, but this is not true. Like, I don't think people in Japan are talking about The Birth of a Nation or Citizen Kane. I think this is a Western view. Yo, what are we talking about here? Somebody needs to compare live action Death Note. Exactly, bro. Live action Death Note is terrible. I literally, one of my roommates in college watched the live action Death Note movie and was like, man, this is terrible. And then he rewatched Death Note, like the first 2 or 3 episodes of the anime. And this is another person that really didn't like anime. And he's like, wow, the anime is significantly better. So he's cooked off of this viewpoint.
Especially in film, some of the greatest movies of all time, they're all live action. You don't see animes mentioned in terms of the most culturally impactful pieces of art that are motion picture, correct?
So wrong.
So when you say culturally, it does depend on the culture.
Right.
And compared from the US to Asia, it's definitely a huge dynamic of how anime is portrayed and seen.
Yeah.
And for the value that people hold when it comes to action in real life films compared to anime, it does capture like different aspects, but to predominantly say one is better than the other, it does depend on what is in the script, what's depicted throughout the animation, or the way that the camera captures live action.
Do you think anime is better than live action?
Yeah.
It's on playing grounds in
No.
the description of arts.
Nope.
Because the arts covers
Nope.
a huge variety of media portrayal and just how one is able to express like creativity, whether it's through actual face expressions or like visual
Exactly.
scenes, or rather
you can't get every emotion perfectly when you're acting in real life. That's like impossible. So like it comes off ingenuine, like it's not real. But like in anime, it's already all not real, right? But like in anime, they can get the exact expression they want because they can curve the body to become like slightly different than what it like can act like the range of movement that it normally would do if it was human. So like you can get way more like accurate expressions with anime than with live action because people are playing a character.
dynamic that animation can create a whole fantasy, not necessarily to cater to a specific culture, but essentially to bring to life what the script is actually meaning.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of being able to add color, being able to bring.
So your argument is that anime can bring to life more aspects of what's animation than live action, therefore it's better.
With more creative freedom, because there's CGI in live action film, but that does come with a huge budget. When it comes to Marvels, they have a huge budget to be able to disperse all of that. But when it comes to animation, it doesn't matter how much budget one can, but they're able to utilize it through the arts, through the depiction, and their efforts in order to create a whole scene that's able to encapsulate a whole script.
And that's a great argument, and I think the democratization of creativity that animation can bring across the film space compared to needing a high-budget Hollywood film is a great thing, right? But objectively, let's say we're watching with a film with a big spaceship like exploding or something like that. Isn't it way cooler to see it happen in live action than anime?
That's all. But wait, hold on. That's still animation though. Isn't that not animation though? Like putting CGI, like that's not. I feel like that's still talking about. Like if you're talking about just like overall live action, that is an animation. Notice how Luffy is the picture in the title part. Yo, that is not important actually.
But isn't that just a utilization of CGI?
Exactly.
I'm sure, but it's cooler.
No, it's
It is
not.
cool, but it's also dependent on which culture you're predominantly invested in.
Sure, but that's a great point about the cultures, and it's important to remember that anime and animation cultures are very small, right? And while they are confined to their nations and Western media is confined to the United States, Western media and United States film, particularly stuff produced here in California, have impacted the entire world in maybe a way anime hasn't.
That's not true. Anime's impacted the entire world.
That's fine.
3, 2, 1.
I think Johnny got it.
I was low-key cheating, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, welcome back, Johnny.
Max, bro, I'm back. It's good to see you, bro. All right, I think obviously everything's subjective, but I think anime is better than live action.
That's weird. Why?
Really? Is it weird?
Yeah.
Dude, that's not cool, bro. Why would we just resort to insults? Why don't we just be a little bit nice, huh?
All right, bro.
No, wait. Let him go. This is gonna be fun. What? Okay, I'll be serious. All right, pretend that didn't happen, guys. All right, I think anime in general, objectively, could have a more creative, just everything than live action. Yes or no?
Yeah, no, that's what she said, and I
Really?
think I actually agree with that point.
Okay.
Okay, then you
I think
lost.
it's better.
Then you lost the point.
I don't,
You
I don't
lost the
think that
argument.
makes it better. I think it makes it more creative potentially.
Then let me see. I actually want to hear. Why do you think live action is better than anime, just in general, or animation?
I think seeing, and obviously this is subjective, but I
Okay.
think there's a value in seeing someone who looks exactly like you and experiences life in the same ways physically than you when you're understanding a story and the way the story is told makes it easier to relate to the person.
Okay.
And on top of that, again, as I've said earlier, every single piece of media in film that has been the most impactful is live action. You
That's
can't
true.
say that about anime. Look, anime has played a great role in its community, but you rarely hear talks of Attack on Titan or One Piece having great impacts on the community.
What is he talking about? That's so wrong.
okay.
Yo, what's
All
up,
right,
Jackson?
you know-
How was the
okay.
e-date?
Maybe
I
in
lost.
your
I'm
little,
gonna
like,
upload
anime
it.
reporter blog, you might hear that. But it's not coming in the New York Times.
Funny. Okay. I'm
No,
not
it
gonna
is.
talk
No,
about that.
no,
Okay,
no.
why do people?
There's whole parades of One Piece and Naruto that get published in articles. What? Yo, nah. Now I'm getting mad.
Go to amusement parks most of the
Oh,
time.
and Jackson
so my
Thomas
main argument is
was helping with
escapism,
you.
right? People will watch things for that general aspect of life. I think live action, sorry, I'm talking, buddy. Live action in general isn't as much escapism as anime will ever be because they have more of a creative thing where they could literally make anything happen more than live action. As you said, and let's say
How
Flow,
bad
for
did you
example, won
lose?
Best Animation. How much did that cost to make? Probably
I don't think I
about
lost that
$100,000. And he was able to make that whole creative thing with animation. He wouldn't have ever been able to make a cat walking around the earth after a whole natural disaster in live action. It's not possible. And that's
Disney's
why I
also
see the
animation,
value
by
in
the way.
animation as more valuable.
Oh,
Obviously,
great-
live action is great.
Great film.
Yeah, great film. Oh, you watched it?
Yeah.
Really? Oh. Hey. So you agree with me, huh?
$4 million?
Okay, what's Avengers Endgame?
No.
What's Avengers Endgame?
Avengers Endgame is like 100.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And okay, continuing, I think just in general, animation, you can make super cool stories
be
with
behind
that
the
low
scenes?
budget. And I think that's the coolest thing. I think, let's say, Demon Slayer, for example, although people don't think it's the greatest thing, it had amazing animation and fight scenes that got people more hyped than some of these Avengers movies that cost like $1 billion.
Did they?
Yes, 1,000%.
I don't know about that.
Who put me out, bro? I got people out. Hey, I was cooking. All right. Yeah, good.
Welcome back, scum.
So your argument is that live action
My
is
argument
better.
is that it's both more impactful and it's cooler.
It's cooler?
Yeah.
In what way? I want to know why before I get into it.
I would rather look at a real life person than an animated person. As I said earlier,
That's not
I'd
cool,
rather
though.
see a fight scene in real life than in
Wait,
anime.
Jax,
So
this is
you'd
actually a
rather
good
look
video
at
for you.
You'd rather
I wanna
watch a
see
movie.
the
You'd rather
bloody cheeks
you'd
on a
rather watch
person
you'd
from a
rather watch
live-action
Pedro.
movie.
You'd rather watch Pedro Pascal in the same movie role 10 times over than seeing something with complete originality.
But they sound the
limitless
same, though.
budget
You can say that.
and creativity.
I think there is a
There is
ample
so much more to animation than meets the eye. The themes. I'm just gonna say.
Very true.
No. Let me
It's
the
very
themes
true.
are way more clear in anime.
Bro, we're having a good conversation.
The themes in anime are way more clear. Just look at Attack on Titan, One Piece.
Yo.
Just let me have one more point. You also have to go beyond just live action, like you prefer it. Just look at Hollywood. Maybe 30 years ago I'd agree with you, right? But right now,
30 years
it's
ago.
just recycled sequels and
And
movies
that's a big
regulated
problem. I
and
agree with
franchise.
that.
But then when you go to anime,
Yeah.
let's say you don't like something, right? Let's say something doesn't resonate with you. You can just go on to the next, and that has just as much creativity and originality and passion, right? Because listen, with a Hollywood movie, people will go see a Leonardo DiCaprio movie despite it being bad or good, just because his face is on the poster.
Exactly.
But with anime, you don't get to see that face. You don't get to see who's behind the voice.
Well, okay, so Gianni got voted out, and then he won 5 more minutes. No, here, wait. Finish your point. Finish your point. Finish your point.
I'm just saying, the people behind anime try harder to create something that resonates with a person because of the limitations they have, because it's behind animation. And that's why I say animation is better. Just look at Avatar: Last Airbender. That is not anime, but it's animation. Just look at Attack on Titan.
Ethan.
It was constructed. It was constructed in a certain way to encapsulate viewers because you don't know anything about these characters. But with live action movies, you recognize an actor.
He just keeps going.
I'm not even gonna lie. Look, I'm not even gonna lie. He cooked with that. Because look at the biggest problem in Hollywood over the past few years has been the ample amount of remakes and sequels and adaptations. And you're right. That's happening because they know they can make money off that. And anime, that's right. People have the budget for that creative freedom. And that's a fair point. I still think I would rather watch a live action movie, but that's a really great point about the creative freedom it gives. So, hell yeah.
That's your opinion.
I got voted out, but I just needed to say my piece, all right? Screw you.
All right, but thank you.
And the 3, 2, 1.
Hello again.
Welcome back.
So I just want to clarify before I start. Your argument is live action will always be better than animation as a whole, correct?
I'm arguing that it looks cooler and it is more impactful.
That's not, bro.
All right, so with that in
That's not what you said, though. That's not what. But I guess if you're going to be more detailed, I guess that is what your thing is. But I mean, you've already lost with this one as well.
mind, I'm not going to give you my.
But it's
opinion.
all
I'm gonna give you
subjective.
A fact here. Are you familiar with Hamlet at all?
I don't know. I don't know why.
The Shakespeare story?
Yes.
Well, if you look commercially, if you look at critic scores, the best version of Hamlet that has been put on film is Lion King. And that's not my opinion. That's based on the gross domestic money earned. It's earned by the amount of reviews. So in that case, that's not even me arguing the opinion. I don't have to. People have already done it. You see, the thing about animation is you're able to capture certain stories in a way that allows for an expressive way that doesn't, how do I put
A whole
this?
lot of fluff
And it's
words.
funny you use Lion King as the example as a story that made more impact as anime, because I would actually disagree that Lion King has had a much greater impact as a Broadway show than it has as a film even, where it keeps getting seen more and more. And that is arguably a live action version of an animated film that people continue to experience.
If you're gonna
so is
argue
it
to
really
me-
just all anime that is the reason Lion King has been so impactful, or
If
is it
you're
live
arguing to
action
me
and anime?
that the Broadway musical of Lion King has been seen more than the film, I can go pull up the stat. I know that's not true. And I was a theater kid. I loved the Lion King Broadway show. However, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's gotten more views, it's gotten a better critical reception, because at the end of the day, it didn't. The
My
original
point is
one-
more though in your one example of anime being
One
incredibly impactful, it still has played a role, live action and both.
Alright.
And people love still seeing that great story. It was such a great anime story, right? That people had to see it in person.
So let
to
me
make
give you a
it better.
second example then, because you're saying I'm going off of one. How about this? There has not been a Spider-Man film that has been more commercially successful than Into the Spider-Verse. That has been better received by critics than Into the Spider-Verse.
Is that true,
Both
chat?
of which was done because, unfortunately, a human being cannot swing around like Spider-Man like an animation
That's
can.
fine. They animated Lord of the Rings in the 20th century, right? No one watches that because they made live action versions of that are the most epic movie trilogy ever.
That's
We're
true.
also talking about the
Okay,
studio
well, then
with
he
the
lost
budget of a
there,
ham
too.
sandwich who made it. We're not talking about someone like Sony, someone like Disney, who, if they were to get the rights to do it, I'm sure would be better. Let's also look, talking about Lord of the Rings, the most recent Amazon series, which was live action, didn't do very good commercially. Are you going to say that because of that, that one I think might arguably be actually lower reviewed than the original animation? So now we're back to the animation did better than the live action version.
Well, no. With the trilogy is obviously the most successful, whether it's The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings.
Can you think of another one that started as a animation that did better in live action? Because we can go to Disney. Let's see, Snow White did better as the animation. Aladdin did better as the animation. Beauty and the Beast did better as the animation. So we're seeing time and time again that when a story is starting as an animation, it's getting converted over to live action, it's clearly not doing as good. You can say you like the film, you can say, oh, I personally thought it was better, but at the end of the day, if we're using facts and facts alone, the critics are saying that that is objectively better based on average reviews, and if we're going off of real income, those movies, the animations have made more than the live
That's
action
fine, but if you go and look up the top 100 shows or top 100 movies of all time, you're probably not seeing much anime on there. And I think that's important to consider when we're talking about the impact of these shows versus anime versus not in the grand
true,
scheme of
though?
things.
Time's up. I think that's good.
I'm getting tired, man. Good point, though. Our last topic is anime will never be mainstream.
3, 2,
It already is. Anime already is mainstream.
Welcome back.
Good to be with you again. Good. Why do you think anime will never be mainstream, even though I kind of think it already is?
Anime will never be mainstream. Again, let's go back to what we were talking about last time. When we talk about some of our most famous shows and most impactful pieces of cinema and film and television, not necessarily anime. At least they're far in the minority, right? That's one factor. Two, I think it goes back to a lot of the rest of our conversation we've had, that the anime community, while it is big and expansive, it's isolated. And because of that, I would argue that it can't be a mainstream topic.
I can go in reverse and say that although you may think it's isolated, it's kind of expanding ever so slightly, and in many ways even. Now, conventions, of course, being hosted here and there are many more niche events other than just conventions being hosted now in different areas, such as like nightclubs and stuff. They kind of have like nights dedicated to like animes and cosplay, or again, more kind of...
Do people who are not part of the community attend these events, though? No,
I feel like
right?
it's mutuals. I feel like, possibly yes, because what would happen is a lot of fans will go and be like, oh.
Why do I feel like he's the type of person to say AI would never take over the world? I think he's personifying his opinions. I feel personify is that exaggerated? There it is. I feel like he's friends with a lot of the people in this room actually, right? That watch anime. So like, even though he has these takes, like he can understand the other side. It's just for the sake of the video, he's so hard leaning on his own side. But this is all opinion based as well. You know what I'm saying? So I think he can see where the facts are, or see the truth in everything, and the lies and faultiness in some of the things that he's saying and what everybody's saying. I think it's just for the video.
I got a friend, we'll bring them along, and they may as well just put them on that.
Let's put it
in the
this way.
sense of-
I got a lot of friends here who enjoy anime. I don't think I've ever been invited to go to an anime event with any of them. So.
Are you fun at parties?
Alright, you got me.
But I got you. Okay, there we go. But I will say that it is.
I'm wearing a suit to debate people about anime. Do you think I'm fun at parties?
Well, some people got a little fun shirt on the bottom. What you got underneath?
All right, when the yeah.
There's nothing
to play that game, dog.
But I will say though, it is plenty mainstream enough. I mean, let's start.
It's in Hot Topic.
Big, let's go.
It's
with
on
the
Nike
biggest
shoes.
here.
It's on Nike
As of
shirts.
recently, actually, there's been a lot of footage that they've been promoting.
Parades.
A One Piece on that insanely. I mean, like I think every few hours in the day they'll play a promo featuring a different character each time, and I think it was like 90-something scenes at once at the same time, kind of spiraling around it. I mean, that's the Vegas sphere. That's already a big thing enough. And if that's not enough for you, Irvine Spectrum recently had a collab with Gundam, and they kind of had this whole like timeline Gundamverse. And I'd gone there myself about 2 times. Dude, it was packed all the time. People kind of lining up for the event. People buying at early access, flying in from different states, and that was all also coming alongside the movie that had come out recently for the new Gundam movie, basically. And on the topic of movies as well, some anime movies have been nominated for Oscars. I'm not
It's
sure
also
if they won
shown
or not,
on
but
TV as
being
well.
nominated for an Oscar is grand enough. I mean, that's a huge opportunity to win.
What's the cat movie called again? Flow. Yeah, that was nominated for.
That won.
Right? Yeah,
It won.
That won.
It won. Wow, there you go. You see.
There you go.
You just proved my point.
And that happens, but few and far between, right? And look,
But it's
I would
already
love for
mainstream because of that.
Anime to be able to have more wind in the creative space, but it just doesn't, right? You're talking about these events that probably a lot of people attend and are happening. But where are they being talked about? Where are they being covered? The point is, right, someone who's like me isn't seeing this on the main front page of the New York Times. I'm not seeing it in mainstream media.
New York Times
It's
has
out.
published about anime on a few occasions, most notably on February 24th, 2021. It did, although not make the front page. Well, I mean, anime is more Asian Japanese culture. We're in America, but the fact that it's on there means it's mainstream, right? Right? Is something mainstream only when it's on the front page? Is that what mainstream means? When it's on the front page of New York Times? That's One Piece will be the first. I don't think so. I think with what Soul Leveling has done and Attack on Titan, mainly Attack on Titan, something will eventually get to it because of what's happening with Attack on Titan. Of course you do. I want to go to Japan and eat ramen right now.
There, but it's
What
not,
about the
it's not
Macy's
showing.
parade?
I'm so
Okay, bet. That's all good. Thank you.
You did great.
Thank you guys.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, this time I'll actually shake your hand. Okay,
shake my-
no, I will
you
shake
be
your
nice
hand this
this
time
time?
because I think you did. You made some points, right?
Some
but
points.
I think anime is already mainstream because of one reason, right? What is the go-to streaming platform to like watch your shows? Like one of them.
Netflix.
Yeah, perfect. Netflix. And guess what was the third most watched show of the entire year in 2023? I'm saying 2023 as the main example.
Sure. What was it?
One Piece, and it had 500 million views. The live action one.
There it is.
But everyone knows the live action. But right, how is that not mainstream enough if it's the third most watched show of the entire year?
One Piece is a mainstream piece of media. I'm not going to
And
disagree.
anime.
It's anime.
What is One Piece? It's anime.
It's an anime, right? But
Yes.
it doesn't mean that.
Yo.
It's mainstream. Like what? Okay, I'll do another point. Okay. Look, every single time. Are you guys done? Wait, give me one more second.
The problem is. Hey,
Why are they voting him out? He's right.
This is the problem with the anime community right now.
No way!
You didn't even let me finish. You put it off stage. That's crazy. You didn't even want to hear it.
All right, next person up in 3, 2, 1.
So I'm gonna bring up the point that I'll do it myself. Anime is actually already mainstream, and so to go off Aiden's point, he uses Netflix, right? It's not actually just Netflix. It's Hulu. It's Disney Plus. It's almost every big streaming company right now is fighting for the rights to get anime on board, right? So you saying that it'll never be mainstream? It's made a huge movement to becoming mainstream, and I would argue that it's still actually is mainstream right now. I could also bring up the point that you have major. You said you don't see like anime on a
Dude, freaking what was it? JoJo's did a collab with Gucci, and Gucci's mainstream. Or what did a collab with Gucci that was anime? And anime's done collabs with other big name brand things as well. But maybe mainstream, he's only talking about like media instead of like clothing. I don't know.
day-to-day basis.
One Piece
But you have
mentioning it.
major companies right now that will do collaborations to promote their brands using animation or anime. For example, the Lakers, right? The Lakers did a collab with One Piece. I would say that that's like a pretty standard, like everybody knows the Lakers. You have big,
In America.
big companies like Nike,
In America.
Vans, many more. Designer brands, I'm pretty sure, have done anime collaborations. I would argue that that in itself is mainstream.
That is mainstream.
That is mainstream, and that's the best argument I've heard so far.
I was gonna say that, y'all.
Yeah, but you got mad and left. So you lost. Anyway, problem is
One Piece mentioned again.
you guys
Bro, it's
can
because
have
of the
as
big
much
boom.
attention and be in the mainstream as you want, but you're still a weird, isolated community.
See, look, I'm telling you, bro.
In your anime bubble, you're all still just there, right? Okay. You're all still jerking each other off and whatever.
Curb down the obscenities. Curb down the obscenities.
And because of the way the community is perceived outside of the community, it's just it's difficult for someone like me to be like, oh yeah, those people have a lot of influence.
Well, a
over
lot of
culture.
people used to
Because
be like you,
I would
bro.
say they don't.
Yeah. So, I mean, you brought up some pretty extreme points there. What I will say to those points, those are the like.
Just people
very
used to be like him
extreme.
all the time.
But just because something is perceived to be weird to you doesn't mean that
It's
it
not
can't
about
be.
it being perceived weird to me. It's about how those perceptions, which are widespread and matter, affect the way everyone else engages with it, right?
If everybody's engaging with it, it's mainstream. If everybody's engaging with it, it's mainstream.
Thank you, everyone. Disclaimer: I actually don't hate anime.
I know,
I just
see?
don't watch it. But
That's
thank
what
you,
I'm
everyone,
saying.
for coming. It's a great debate.
And that's facts. I already knew it. I called everything, bro. I knew this was all gonna happen like this. Woo, man.